Hi, this is Darshini Jasani, and I'm going to be talking about the different leadership contingency models. Last module, we had looked at different leadership theories like the behavioral leadership theory, the leadership grid theory, and so on. The conclusion in all these was that the situation was the biggest deciding factor in choosing what kind of leadership style should be adopted. Based on that, leadership contingency models and theories were suggested. Contingency typically means it depends. The first leadership contingency model was suggested by Fiedler in 1951. He suggested two leadership styles, the task-oriented and the relationship-oriented leadership style. The task-oriented leadership style focused on getting the job done, whereas the relations-oriented leadership style focused on the relations between the employee and the employees in the organization. There were certain situations which favored the accomplishment of a task. The first one was the leader-member relation, which talks about the relations between the leaders and the followers, and better the relations, higher the chances of the job getting done. It also spoke of the task structure, which spoke of the organization and the clarity of the job and the routine factor of the job involved. It also spoke of the position power, which speaks of the position held of the power held by the leader. So more the power held by the leader, more faster or better could the job be done. The Fiedler came up with some sort of an algorithm or a working model where different questions were asked, and based on the answer of the first question, it led you to a different options for the next question, and so on and so forth. It told you exactly which style of leadership to choose from. The reason why this theory received some criticism was the fact that Fiedler used the least preferred co-worker scale to gauge the relation in the task-oriented leadership style. However, not much clarity is available for that. He also suggested that that the leader should not change the style but change the situation. However, it's easier to change one style versus changing a situation. Also, he did not provide any clarity on how the situation should be changed. He simply just said the situation should be changed. However, this was the first suggestion at a contingency model, which is why it has gained importance. The next leadership model is the leadership continuum theory, where there's a set of 7 leadership styles that need to be chosen from. The first, it starts from the boss-oriented approach to the employee-oriented approach. The variables in this included the forces in the boss, where the boss is either autocratic or democratic. It depends on the subordinates, where the subordinates, they want the leader to direct them completely or not. It depends on the situation, and the situation talks about the clarity of the job and the size of the structure and so on. And time is also one of the important factors, where if time is available at hand, a democratic style could be chosen, but if time is not available, an autocratic setup would be required. The continuum theory was developed by Tannenbaum and Schmidt, and they suggested 7 leadership styles. The first one being purely autocratic, and slowly the decision or the involvement of the employees was then increased. Here, in this continuum theory, there was no exact clarification on which theory should be used. It was relatively open-ended, so there was a bit of confusion as to what style should be adopted, due to which another theory, which is the path for leadership theory, was suggested by Robert House in 1979. He suggested 4 different leadership styles: directive, supportive, participative, and achievement-oriented. Directive involved the leader giving directions. Supportive included when the leader was supportive of the employees, and in this the followability is relatively high. The participative one is when all the employees were involved in the decision making process, and the followability is high here as well. Achievement oriented is when they focused on getting the job done. The variables in this included the follower and the environment variables. The follower variables was authoritarianism, whether the followers wanted full authority, wanted full directorship, as in wanted to be completely directed by the leader or not. It depended on the locus of control, whether they believed it was intrinsic or extrinsic. It depended also on their ability, whether they had the ability to perform a job or not. The environment factors included the task structure, which is the type of job that had to be done. It depended on the formal authority, which spoke of the power vested in the leader, similar to Fiedler's model, and the work group, which represented the dynamics of the people in that setup. Here, 4 styles need to be chosen from, and again, there was not much clarity on what style needed to be chosen. But the important fact is that it gave brought into account the fact that there were certain situations which were beyond the leader's control, which then led to the leadership substitute theory. The leadership substitute theory believes that there are certain situations which are outside the leader's control, and in certain cases the need for the leader is neutralized or substituted. The neutralizing factors are the follower characteristics, whereas if you have highly skilled workers, you may not need a leader. If the task characteristics, where the job to be done was specific and clear, again, you may not need a leader. It also depended on the organization characteristics, which could range from the size of the organization to the flexibility of new rules being adapted by the organization. And in such cases, the leader may not necessarily direct the subordinates, but may just fill in the gaps or merely be a representative of the institution. Talking primarily from the education perspective, the ultimate goal, I feel, should be to have the leadership substitute theory, where you have a team of highly skilled teachers teaching the students, and the principal just guides them or represents the school, versus directing the teachers for every small decision. However, when the school is new, the path code leadership theory would help in reaching the substitute theory, where during the using the path code theory, the leader would be expected to be versatile and adapt themselves to any kind of situation whatsoever. Mike Myatt, in his article, also mentioned that these different models give you ideas of which theory should be used. However, however, soft skills such as sensitivity and the caring nature of the leader should be the most vital, and those should not be forgotten. The references used here are the Ashwa and Lucia textbook 2016, Leadership Theory, Applications and Skill Development, and also Mike Myatt's article, which is the most common leadership model. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.